you ready? It's 6:31, and we're going to call the Historic District Commission meeting to order.
So you are on camera right now.
Oh, that's great. That's lovely. Okay.
Who's watching?
Who knows? We could have a full audience.
Just going into archive?
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Excellent.
Well, it's going on, yeah.
Are we on Lakes Region Public Access?
No.
We're so famous.
We don't have an audience at the
I wish
moment.
I'd known. I would have.
Got Jared.
It's all good.
We still have
We're
to keep
real
it
life
clean.
commissioners.
Please.
Okay. Let's see who's here. Let's do roll call. Go ahead, Charlie.
Not me, that's her job.
All right. Lena, would you do that
She's
for us?
very good at that.
Charlie St. Clair,
Here.
Laura Breer,
Here.
Hillary Martin,
Here.
Carla Wrights,
Here.
Sonia Matusik,
Here.
Tara Shore.
Here. And I always forget this part. The recording secretary, Kalina, is here, and Jean Trefethen is also here. Do we have any corrections or changes to the minutes of September 28th?
Move to accept.
Second?
I move to accept.
Didn't we already get a movement to accept?
There's a motion
Okay,
on
and there's
the
a
table.
second, and now there's
No, there's a
any
motion
other
on the
discussion?
table.
No, seeing none, we'll accept those. Okay,
Smart Alec.
we have public comment, or this is all the presentation? This is all presentation? Okay. Well, then let's have a presentation of the Pemaco block addition and renovation.
Super duper.
So I'm going to recuse myself from participating in the discussion as a member of the HDC and become part of the presentation.
I'm Jared Gilmet with Mashashik Turpin.
Hi, Jared.
And I'm Sonia Mashashik, and we are here representing Patrick and Susan Zill, who have purchased the Pemaco block. They have come to us for architectural services, and their intent is to keep the first floor retail on Main Street. All those businesses that are there will remain. We're not making impacts to their businesses, to their storefronts. All that's pretty much gonna be as is. We are going to do kind of a rehabilitation on the outside of the building, so we'll do an analysis of the building as to masonry repointing. We will be replacing windows, and we'll show you some of that as we kind of get into the presentation here. But pretty much what you're going to see is Main Street's going to look like Main Street, just kind of cleaned up and tidied up a little bit. Yes, Carl?
Where is the Pemaco block?
Yep, so we have some historic images that you just saw, but the Pemaco is right across from the Colonial and Canal Street
Okay.
and Green Laws.
It's the building that Wayfarer Coffee Roasters in, for reference.
Thank you.
So all the retail remain, and we're really here as a courtesy. We understand we're not in your district, but we want to, the Zills want to be part of the community and kind of take any comments and feedback that you might have as to what they're planning to do, and we'll try and incorporate those. But, so their intent is to move here year-round. They're gonna take the existing apartments and the theater and convert that into one apartment, and it will be on the second and third floor. So let's go back to the pictures for a second. So this is what it used to look like years ago. These are somewhere in the 50s these images came from. If you were to go outside and walk the street, it looks pretty similar. We don't have the fantastic blade and marquee that you'll see kind of off in the distance in that top image or in this one here. We do have a lot of projecting signs on the businesses. We do not have any awnings or drapery kind of on the front facade. And there's what it looked like in 1954.
I didn't know.
Wow.
So if you turned around if you were standing under that garden sign, the Colonial would be right across the street. They were like competing marquees.
Correct.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yep. We're a little bit further north on Main Street.
So this building right here, that's the Pemaco building. So the Blade and Marquee would have been kind of right over these cars here. So it's not directly across. That's what Sonia was referencing by a little bit more north. But it is still there. And they, at one point were owned by the same family and showed compatible movies. So families with kids could send the kids to the gardens to watch a kids-friendly movie, and then adults could go see a play or something that would not hold the attention of children at the Colonial.
Fun, right?
That's so cool.
So when you go to Wayfair next time, just walk down to the end of the building and look in the windows. You can see the staircase that goes upstairs.
Correct. Let's go zoom in down here for a second. So we are proposing a small little addition off the back of the structure that is in a buildable area. When I say that, it meets the setbacks. So it's in land that the Zills own. And what this is going to be is an entrance and an elevator. There currently is not an elevator in the building, and this will be a means for them to, their front steps, which they're keeping, or front stairs off of Main Street, they were not designed to meet any sort of current code. We are keeping those. They're beautiful terrazzo steps that kind of take you up to the theater space. So we really need to create kind of an accessible entrance for them.
I recall in the front entranceway, on the right-hand side as you're entering, there was a glass enclosed marquee. Is that still there? I haven't paid any attention, but it announced all of the features and the activities, and it was lighted inside.
None of that is there, to my knowledge.
That's too bad, okay.
Yep, Tara.
Is the elevator going to be just a personal, like people elevator, as
Correct.
large as the Mills, or tinier like Buzzle?
More like Buzzle,
Okay.
a residential type elevator.
Okay.
So this building, since it is connected to the retail, is going to fall though underneath the International Building Code rather than International Residential Code. So when I state that, the systems inside the building are going to have to meet commercial codes. And it's because we're connected to that retail space. We are gonna sprinkler the building, we're gonna upgrade the electrical, the mechanical, all that's gonna be new for the apartment. It's already been done for the retail spaces when the Zills purchased it.
So when you say you're putting the addition for the elevator, so is the elevator gonna be external then?
It is.
Okay.
Yep, we'll show you some images too.
And another driving force to keep it external was so that we were not impacting any of the retail spaces.
Are they keeping the theater?
Yes,
Okay, good.
as their main living space.
What do you want to go to?
Let's go to.
Oh, then they're not
The
planning to
existing
have
complex.
functions there.
No, it is their home.
I see.
So
Not going to
these
destroy
are some
it.
images. This
I
is,
thought it
top
was a
image is
waste
Main
anyway
Street.
with Colonial.
This is kind of the north elevation, facing north, and it's really a parking lot, and then you would be at like the Village Bakery building. This is the Pleasant Street parking lot, or that's at least how we're referring to it. And you can see down on the bottom, those are all rear entrances to the retail space. And then the one furthest to the right in the image is an entrance that goes down into the basement for the Zills. So it's, each of the retail spaces have an internal stair, and you'll see a plan that gets to their own basements. But we're gonna be working where that door is and where that fire escape is.
Where would their dedicated parking be?
So they will park in this lot.
And it's not
They do
dedicated.
not have a dedicated spot currently.
But they have the ability to park overnight with exceptions from the city or
I don't know any of
don't know.
that. They actually are not overly concerned about parking. They see themselves as having kind of one vehicle here, and maybe there's one that's parked remotely somewhere else. I don't really know, but it's not an issue for them to use the city parking. They come from the Atlanta area, so they're moving here for kind of quietness. They want to be part of downtown, be part of the community. They don't have that at home currently where they live. So that was part of the draw of coming here to New Hampshire. They also love to ski. And then the bottom image here is kind of, we don't have a really good shot, but it shows you the alley that runs between the Cook building and the Pemaco building. And there's a fire escape there. The property line basically bisects the alley in half. So half is owned by each. So let's go back to that one image for a second.
Since we're all asking questions, that alley, are they gonna leave that open like it is so people
Yes.
can traverse back and forth?
Correct, there's no intent to close that off.
Okay, thank you.
They do own a little bit of the green space that you see on the back here. And their intent is to maybe enhance that a little bit with some additional vegetation. The tree that is there is going to be impacted with our work that we're going to do. And it really is consuming that whole building right now, when you see the image. You know, it's just, imagine your main living space right behind there, and you got this enormous tree, and you get no light into your sort of
See a
living
lot of
area.
birds.
What's that?
See a lot of birds
Yes,
close
I'm
up.
sure you would see a lot of birds. So there'll still be a sidewalk back there. There'll still be the parking. None of that is being impacted as to what's running close to the edge of the front end parking. Pointing as if you can see me. I apologize. Okay, so let's go to the second. Yep. So here's how the basements are arranged. Once again, Main Street is to the bottom of the screen. Parking lot on the right side, parking lot on the back side, and the Cook building on the left.
With the alley.
Yep. So the back of the structure in plan, that's the Zill's basement. And the other spaces are basements for the retail. All those retail spaces use their basements currently, and those internal stairs allow them access down there. So we're not impacting any of that. We will be cleaning up their basement because it's full of old coal.
Of old what?
Coal.
Oh,
Coal.
coal.
Yep.
Like actual
fuel.
coal?
Yep.
That's worth
Do you-
cha-ching right now.
Do you have some place to burn that, Charlie, or what are you thinking about?
No, but the question is, what will they do with that coal?
It's theirs now.
They will do. Somehow it will get removed out of there, though.
But, I mean, it's a question to ask, only because it could be, maybe go to people that still use coal to heat, or it could go somewhere.
Well, the other thing that we
Asset of the
want to
owners.
solve, you'll see images, but there are the old seats.
The old
in-
what?
The old seats in the theater, and we don't really have a function for all of those seats. So if people have ideas as to what we could do with seats, we would be interested in hearing that from you folks.
I'd say maybe at least one of them should be donated to the Historical Society.
Yes.
We could certainly ask them to do that. Yep. Okay, so next drawing, this is the Main Street level. So you've got a barber, you've got empty space, the Wayfarer Marketplace, Wayfarer, and then the new soap business on the end. And in the back, you can see where the stairs go down to the Zill's basement and where we're proposing the elevator. So the elevator will have an entrance on both sides and then just the shaft itself going up. And there is a chimney also in this area. So it's a location that we already have some vertical feature on the building.
A functioning chimney?
Yes. Yep, it's dealing with their basement and mechanical exhaust.
Makes sense with the coal.
Yep.
Makes sense with a
So
oil burner.
they would take that steer off of Main Street and arrive kind of up into their main living space. Sure. So there's the
here's
stairs
the stair.
coming up. We're maintaining the doors that exist in the theater, the doors that go into the main theater. That's kind of a little airlock vestibule for the theater. And then they're going to turn the theater itself into their living space or their entertaining space. Dining room, TV, big screen, sort of movie projection, library. They're gonna have a little basketball court in there. Their office will be in
Because they
there.
can.
Shouldn't everybody have one in their living room?
Yes.
And then in the portion so that's a 2-story volume. Where's that historic image?
Are they not touching the stage? Are they leaving the
stage
stage
will
as
remain.
is?
Yep. So
Look at it.
there it is. What we are going to do is mess with the tiers in the balcony. So we are going, because a tiered space is very hard to function and use unless you indeed have a theater. So the structure is at the lowest level of the balcony elevation, and then those tiers are built up. We've documented all of that. We've got documentation as to how high they are, all of that. If someone ever wanted to come back and put this thing back into use as a theater, they would be able to do that. What else?
So you're leaving the
Go
tier
backwards.
floor?
We're leaving the lowest level,
Yep.
and then the risers are gonna
Just be
go
gone.
away.
Okay. Not that, again, any of this matters. I'm just so curious and excited.
So the main stair up to the balcony will also remain.
Sorry.
It's very Titanic-like.
It is. It's
And this
gorgeous.
is basically gonna become like a bar for them on the upper level.
I'm starting to like these people.
I know, I want to be their
We'll have
friends.
a little bit of seating up here in case you wanna watch a big screen sort of event, maybe I don't know. I mean, they're moving here. I don't know their friends or anything like that. They seem very close-knit as a family, like they travel with a cousin.
Very cool.
So they are going to have a gym space in here, 3 guest bedrooms on this level, and their bedroom would be on that first floor off the kitchen and the main living space.
So I'm gonna jump back. Here's the second floor again, or their main level. So again, the stairs from Main Street are down here in this corner. But the whole front Main Street side, which used to be the apartments, converted to their master suite and laundry room.
That's cool.
So lots of space. Yep. So this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, it hasn't been interesting at all yet.
I know.
Let's get
You
into
have
this.
you have a captive audience.
So the challenge with the site is that they don't have any outdoor space. So we're proposing that the elevator come up to the rooftop level. And then the main volume of the theater that projects up about maybe 30 inches off of the
You can
height
see it
of the
here.
building is gonna become an outdoor sunroom, or an enclosed sunroom and an outdoor terrace for them. All of this has to go through minor site plan review, so we are in the process of getting our paperwork together for that.
So something is being built higher than the roof?
We will show you, yes.
thing?
Yep. So there's a room, maybe you can run your mouse around there, that will have outdoor feel to it, but they will be able to be enclosed. So it basically like a glass sort of space up top there. We have pushed it away from Main Street to keep the visibility of it off of the downtown, more on the back side. It's also where we're gonna catch sunsets. So that's another part of the reason. The U shape of the lower roof will remain as mechanical. So we will have the elevator that goes up there. There currently is a stair that goes up to the roof. And then we'll be adding an extension of the fire escape to go up to the top as well. So they will have ways to exit off of there. We see trees, maybe a little vegetable garden up there, living space to be out in the sun, sheltered space to be underneath a little deck area, and then kind of the inside solarium or sunroom area. Okay. Maybe let's go to the model. I think that shows it best. So I'm gonna let Jared walk you through the model that he's worked up. So this is the look of the building as you
Yeah, and as Sonia briefly mentioned earlier, we're kind of wanting to create a little bit more uniformity on the facade and returning the window configuration to the best of our interpretation from historic documentation. The pictures we've gotten are all from the 50s, and it still kind of looked like it does today with mismatched windows. I'm just going to jump back there for a second.
First one.
Yeah. Where you look here, and in this wide opening, we have the picture window with two upper kind of awnings, but in the same size opening above, we have double hungs. So there was a lack of symmetry and coordination on the facade at these pictures. So our proposal is to not modify those openings, but to return a semblance of that symmetry with keeping the double hungs at the perimeter and the middle center here, and then introducing the larger picture windows at the larger openings on that facade.
Are these windows that can be opened?
The double hungs will be, the picture will be fixed here, and we can introduce awnings up above.
And we're still working on it because we also have to meet egress
I'm glad they're
requirements.
gonna have windows that can open, so they can hurl obscenities down to the street or vice versa. Shut that engine off.
So that view was kind of 50 feet away
Yeah.
from the building, as if you were standing on Canal Street, that first one that you saw.
And this view, still kind of on that same side of the sidewalk, maybe closer to Greenlaw's, All My Life Jewelers, looking across, so the parking lot's here, and we're looking south. So again, the parking lot, north face of the building, you can see up top here the existing stair volume that protrudes from the roof.
The
So
what?
It's an existing
Sorry?
stair volume, so it provides the current access to the roof is through that volume.
I see.
And so that'll remain. And you can see we're just starting to kind of get a glimpse of the rooftop.
And that's
What-
not currently there. That's
Correct.
your new plan.
Correct. Yes, this whole model represents all new.
They don't have any plans to paint or do anything like the next door
Is it gonna be
did.
black and yellow on the outside? No.
Black
What?
and-
No.
Oh, no.
Are we
We will
going
be
into
looking
colors
at
here?
kind of the paint scheme down low.
Mhm.
You know, right now it's kind of a gray, but we want to make sure there's uniformity based off of the historic images. We perceive that the window coloring was very similar to what that band was, so we want to kind of make that relatable. And so then if we head out back towards the Pleasant Street
okay.
zone, this is where you kind of see a lot of the new stuff. So you can see the balcony that we've added off of the internal balcony at the third floor. You can see our vertical elevator circulation, and then the
Sunrise.
sunroom and roof deck.
That elevator is brick?
This elevator will not be brick.
On the
We're looking
outside.
at it as a metal facade to kind of be complementary, still represent a little bit of the industry and kind of back of house that this portion used to be, and still is. You know, that this, again, is right where we have the existing second fire escape, so there's a lot of metal there. And we want that to be able to connect, but also read different. If it were brick, it might be interpreted that it was original and existing, and we want to avoid that.
We've learned from the State Historic Preservation Office that we shouldn't tell a false story,
Okay.
that it should be clearly obvious what is new versus what is historic.
Yeah, like a good
But
example
it
is
should
looking
be-
at the library.
Yes.
Like the addition, it's similar enough that it looks like the same building, but it's distinctly different.
I like that.
And please excuse the bottom, the rear windows, doors from the retail. Haven't gotten to that in the model, but those will remain as doors and windows.
Is that the residential platform deck on the second floor?
Yeah, balcony.
That'll be new.
Yes.
Correct.
The tree that we were speaking about before that would need
Yep.
to be completely removed?
For the most part, yes. It'll be impacted by
For the
any
most,
sort of work.
for the most part, I
Yes.
think means yes, everything.
But like,
The
it's
trees
our
that-
intent to reintroduce vegetation, so that this space isn't barren, that there's a good space, because, you know, right now, some of the retail You can sit out there with your coffee from Wayfair. So we don't want to eliminate that kind of
If-
function and use back there.
If they own the green space though, will that still be used by the public for things like that?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, they have their own green space upstairs. What do you
Yeah.
want?
So
Oh, I
can
know,
we
I'm not
go
gonna be in
and,
down there, but.
to the existing photo of the back there? So what we didn't tell you is that the openings that you see kind of up top and on the second floor, those openings are going to define where we're putting those windows and doors. So the width of the opening, as you see here, it's bordered up on either side of a window right now. We're gonna basically take that whole width
So
and
you're
make
not
it
gonna be
glass.
altering the walls
We're not gonna be
themselves.
into the brick.
So, right, because historically, that used to all be window.
But was it a 1, 2, 3-story window? Is the brick in the middle going to become window, or just that top part going to remain window? Could you go
This
back?
lower portion here will be cut out
Become window.
to drop us to the floor in order to achieve
That look,
there.
that's what I was wondering.
And then the ones below will basically infill the openings that are there.
right here.
Mhm.
And that balcony just runs along those bottom windows.
Correct.
Have you awarded this to a contractor yet?
So we are working with Meridian Construction out of Guilford.
Oh, they're using local, it's nice.
Yep.
You're familiar with them?
They do good work?
I am, yeah.
That's encouraging.
We've also done a hazardous material study on the building. So we know where we have hazardous material. Of course, being an old structure, there is hazardous material. It will all be removed properly. We have also done a structural analysis, or head refresh, and we do a structural analysis on the building to determine loads and things. We will certainly meet capacity for the additional load of using the roof area. We haven't solved all of that at this point yet, though, but we will have engineers to help us do that. And I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that they have reached out to. No, I think that's pretty much it. We are doing some investigation because it's interesting, the floor elevation of the theater is not necessarily, at the balcony, is not necessarily the third floor elevation on Main Street, because there was never an internal connection there. So we're trying to figure out how many steps we might need to go from the balcony into the existing apartment, sort of Main Street wing.
Won't you need a whole new floor structure?
No,
Just steps down.
Just steps.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it will kind of read a little bit as part of an old tier, right? That's kind of our intent, that we can still maintain a tier at this edge that's connected with steps instead of tiering down to the lowest level.
So the top of the building, they're up there having their green space. From your picture here, it's very much not visible from the street. But then safety becomes an issue and they need to put up a fence or a gate or something to make sure people don't fall off. What kind of visibility would there be,
so
or is
we're
there
gonna
an
be
issue there?
ringing that elevated area with rails, so the space that's
Just
there.
that middle space of the top?
Yes, we need to confirm with the fire department, though, to make sure that they're comfortable that that is, like, the rest of it's mechanical, and it exists that way today. The rail that we're gonna look at would be like a glass rail or an aircraft cable, something very light and see-through.
Do you need a rail if it's not open to the public?
Residentially, we would need a rail because it's greater than 30 inches of drop.
I didn't know that, okay.
Especially at this.
Right.
And the exterior perimeter wall doesn't need anything.
And then partying.
So there wouldn't have to be anything all the way to the front of the building coming up,
Right,
like
that is our hope,
Okay,
Hillary.
yeah, I definitely appreciate their
respect
strides.
of the
being-
facade.
Yeah, exactly, that there are steps to be made to respect the facade of the building, there's very little change to the outside structure of the building, and that the basic floors and structure of the theater is being preserved. I very much appreciate that.
You've made quite an issue on retaining the original theme on the front architectural framing in of the windows and so forth. There are keyways and decorations in the framing of the window on the front. No chance of having that done in the back?
It never existed on the back, so,
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
you know,
they're not.
we're just kind of reinforcing how it existed.
Okay,
And even at the Colonial, it's very, just buildings in general, where the main streets were, they bought better bricks, they put in better windows, so.
Higher level of detail.
Yep, and then when you go down little alleys or to the backs of the buildings, they become simpler.
Yeah, 'cause nobody,
You know, and
it's
that's
not
why-
anything that a lot of people
Sure.
are gonna be seeing, why spend all the money on it?
Right.
You know,
Okay.
just on this building, you see the cornice and the belt course wrap, and they extend about 18 to 24 inches, and then they terminate, and we get into this
More industrial
face
sort of feel.
Right,
very
exactly, yeah.
simplified, yeah.
So
Can you-
is it, I don't, I'm just, maybe this has been asked, but would these, do you know if these new owners or the owners would object to this building being put in the historical district?
I do not know that. They have never, they did question when there was a little bit of news in the paper about the historic district,
Mhm.
but
What was their question?
will it impact our project?
Well, and this, I think this speaks very clearly to it. And the people who are working on it or discussing it through, and the people who own the property. It's, the ordinances clearly state the facade is important, and, you know, to keep it as close to the original as we can. I think that your company, your team looks at, you know, you keep in mind that we, you know, not seeing the new built-up space, that a lot of what you're doing is on the back end, which is part of the ordinances, and that
The what?
the ordinances clearly state that
But
if
they're
you're,
not ordinances yet.
no,
Yeah.
but just taking into
No, I understand what you're
consideration,
saying. I just wanna,
right,
to be clear, there's no, they don't have
they
to
don't
do
have
that.
ordinances,
think
but
it's
the
a great
fact that
courtesy
they
that they do
have
this.
It's
So.
kind
the
of,
thought process
Right.
to work in that
Right,
direction
so-
is
so-
wonderful.
and it can
So
go
I'm
to
just trying
show,
to get at the point that if they're doing all this, I'm hoping that if the time comes, they would say, oh yeah, we're cool with
Yeah,
historical
because-
thing.
well, it
'cause-
goes to show that you can
Yeah, they're-
modernize and still live
Be functional, yeah.
live within
Exactly.
what we would hope for our historic district. So it's kind of like a nice stepping stone to say, this isn't in the historic district, they didn't have to do this, but look at all they could do and still,
And I don't know that there's one thing on here that has, you know, made
there are no big
made
red
me think, wait a
flags.
minute, or anything like that, in relation to what we'd be following in an ordinance if someone was coming to us inside a
Yeah,
district.
sounds right.
This is prime example
And
that,
in
look at what they
general-
can do here, like
Well,
you
and
said,
they've gone,
Lori.
in
Right.
my
Yeah.
feeling, they've gone above and beyond by
Yeah.
are they
what they're
really?
doing inside.
Mhm.
So the only other question I have is this something that could be thrown back at us or back to supporters of the
Because
historical?
somebody can do it without being in a district?
Exactly.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can say that all day long, but here are the Zills.
No
They have a team that is knowledgeable, not only in architecture, but as well in their building team. And so they have the, you know, guidance and knowledge about things as they build along. But you can so these people, here's an example. The Zills do all this work to this beautiful building, right? And they think about it and they keep it inside the character of the city and downtown. And the building next door, whatever, Cook Building, gets purchased. And that person does not think like them. They don't have that insight. They may not have the teams that they have, that the Zills have. And they decide they're gonna build 6 feet up and 65 feet up and so now all the work that the Zills have done to work inside of the character of the city, what they're looking for, clearly stated, they've lost it.
Yep.
So a historic district, as we've said before, doesn't just care for the items that are currently in place, it cares for the future of what might be coming. And again, not holding you back from updating and new stuff. Look at all the great new things this family is about to do to this building and have for themselves. But they haven't destroyed it. They haven't destroyed the character, they haven't taken out any of the, you know, great
Yeah,
pieces.
this is
They've
a
added
perfect
to it,
example
enhanced
of
it.
a really well thought out plan for a historic preservation, because with historic preservation, it's not just about preserving, like, it's not a time capsule, because if that was the case, then buildings would just sit empty and nobody would ever do anything with them ever, because you can't fix it. It's updating a building in such a way that it doesn't ruin it, and like you said, there's no elevator in there, but in finding a way to add the elevator without detracting from the rest of the building, that is really key, instead of saying, nope, we're gonna cut a hole through the whole center of the building and add this whole thing. No, which I think this is just an excellent example of what can be done. Like you said, to show that, no, you can do this without us saying, well, no, you can't do any of that. It is possible.
Well, and in 25 years after this is done, somebody can look at that photo from 1950 and then look at a photo from 2037, be like, yeah, that was that building. And it holds that value of historic relevance while moving towards the future.
I do want to, I'm going back to Charlie's question about the Zills and what their questions. They were concerned that they were gonna have to match every little detail. Like, what
Which is what we
do I
don't want
have to
people to
worry about the
No.
windows? Like,
Right.
No.
you know, she wanted to know, do I have to match the profiles and like the glass areas and that sort of stuff? So I think
And again, those are all the
it was
fears we're
specific
hearing from the
details that
general
they were
public.
concerned about.
And that's what we have
And
to
so
be
this
clear
is,
about.
this build could literally be our poster child for like,
But I like I think, I don't, if it was Sonia that said, we don't want to tell a false story. And I think that's important, and the fact that again, it kind of says what we're saying, is that we want to keep the character of what we have in place currently, but go ahead and add on what you need to, or, change what needs to be done, but do it in a slightly different manner, different product, different thing, so that you know that this piece is not original to the building, that you can still see the original structure.
And the other good thing is, when you were talking about the balconies, that you noted that you documented everything, so if, 25 years down the road, somebody else buys it, said, nope, I want this to be a theater again, because one of the keys with historic preservation and anything that's altering, and I know that's especially key for things that are on like historic, in a historic district or on the registry or something. But anytime you make changes like that, it is key to either preserve the original elements somewhere or have it in such a way that they can be replaced. Like the elevator could, in theory, be removed to put the facade back to what it was. Like, I go back to the library, but it's a great example because, like, the addition, you see there's basically a walkway connecting the two parts. Like, you could basically buzz the library in half and put the original library back together. That's what a big thing is with that. And so I really appreciate the thought that's going into all of this, that it says a lot about who they are, and that I think the fact they wanted us to be a part of that conversation is big.
Yep, we really appreciate that. Please let them know that, and that we're very
I
excited.
think we should let
to see
them
that.
know that.
Oh, I already have here, I'm gonna write thank you. We'll write a
where
little
are our
thank you.
postcards?
I know.
Yeah, it'd be nice of them to hear it
Is
from
there a
us.
restroom on this floor?
Were you asking though, should we be going back to the Zills and asking them if they would be willing to have their building in the historic?
Just ask if there'd be any opposition to it.
It wouldn't hurt.
I would be very, because I don't know why they would, because like Tara pointed out, this can preserve, all the work you're doing here. You don't want to be distracted by something next door.
Right.
We could have something like what happened to the Hathaway House. They did such a great job preserving that so it could come back. I know, but that's exactly the type of thing.
Is that something you could also put into your note? I can certainly talk with them, but if you do have a response, I'd be more than happy to reinforce that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, this all sounds
I
great.
mean, we're, the city, whether everybody will ever know it or not, is very fortunate to have had these people buy this building. You can't talk about
And I
winning
interest
a-
them in some more buildings.
winning a lottery.
I have some,
Tara, what's that? I didn't hear what
some
you said.
properties in the Weirs I could
Yeah,
point you
well,
to.
But, talk about hitting a home run for the city. I mean,
Yeah.
this is,
Yeah, very well
It's gonna
done.
be great.
It's a plus.
And
Like,
it's
I
unbelievable view from the roof.
Yeah,
I can
I bet.
Oh, I'll bet it is, yeah.
I like
George,
the fact
we'll
that they're
fix that.
improving the facade too, to make it, bring it back to the
Yeah.
50s. I
Yes.
think that's,
Cleaning up the windows and. Mhm.
yeah, exactly.
Any other questions for Jared or Sonia? No?
Can't
Really,
think of
thank
any.
you.
Mm.
Again, please
Nice
send them
job.
Yes.
thank you.
let that
And
tree
so
behind
much
you
thank
out of
you for
brick.
saving the inside,
Me too.
You and your
For
birch
saving
tree.
what?
the
Would
inside.
anyone like,
You and your birch tree. I
Have you
live
looked
across
at
the
that birch
street.
tree?
I live across the street from it.
Yeah, you know how nice it is. It's a beautiful
I
tree.
know. Yeah, I live on the corner of Messer and Church.
Yeah, that's a beautiful,
Like our living room windows looked out on where the playground used
Yeah,
to
I
be.
am.
that's a beautiful tree.
I have a wall of antique photos in my office.
Said I live right there.
Well, I hope you're gonna raise
I have a
hell.
really good one of the inside,
I
Carl.
don't know if you guys,
Do you?
I didn't make a
Oh.
ton of copies, but
No, I'd
there's
love to see
existing
copies.
and
That's
there's-
nice.
And this
there's
floor is
historical pictures.
gorgeous.
Yeah. The boat show.
Can you make, could you make some more copies of these?
I can
Once you get it
certainly,
out, or
we
somebody-
can send the PDF. We
Yeah,
have these
that'd be
as a
great.
PDF and we can
Because
send
I'd
them.
love to get a copy, I took a
Yes.
picture, but I'd love to be able to show this to people.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I believe, is it in here, or,
This is a historic one
this one here, gee,
with the bikes.
where have I seen that picture before?
Gee, I wonder.
Oh, I know where that came from.
Which picture? The
The
bikes?
Is
bikes.
permission
Gee,
received
I
to make
wonder.
a copy of this and hand this out like this?
We got it from the Historical Society.
Yeah, oh, like.
These are
for them.
fabulous.
No,
Well,
They
we
are
can,
that's a
um,
great picture.
That is a
send
great
you
picture. That's a
PDFs
fantastic
of
picture.
what we presented.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Put that in our book.
We'll get it
great
to
job on that
Kalina.
model.
So here we are in
Yes.
in the late 50s, and the marquee is gone.
Right. There's not a lot of research on the building that we were able to come across, but if anyone knows of any more, we'd be more than happy to.
Did you talk to Warren?
this
I
is-
was about to say, if
This
you talk to
is-
Warren, he'll talk to you
yeah,
for about
Jared
2 hours
mentioned
about
to
it.
So
him.
would probably,
The building, and he's been searching, and
He's now on the hunt. If he comes across anything.
It won't, yeah.
It'll
He'll
come up.
give you a dissertation.
And this is like 1948.
Love Warren, but
are you dating
He's
us
going by
because of
cars?
Yeah,
My husband does the same
I
thing.
take the newest car
Warren can
and I
always find someone
subtract
to
a
talk
year.
to.
All right,
miss working
we
with
are
Historical
on our
Society.
way to,
sorry that took so long.
no, are you kidding?
Okay.
We want more of those.
I told
What
Kalina
else
10,
can you tell
15
us?
minutes.
Whatever.
Like,
45.
come on, that was awesome. That was great.
Yeah, let's have more of those.
Yeah.
An update on the status of the subcommittee. Anyone got anything? Because my email and you do, Dean, fabulous. Mine went unanswered.
Yeah, mine went unanswered a couple of times, but I finally did get an answer, and from the chair of the subcommittee, and
Oh, who is it?
that is Counselor Susi, and he is going to reach out to me to schedule us.
Next month.
I don't know when it's going to be. He has not reached out yet, so.
That's what the mayor told me
TBD.
today, Tara.
By November?
The mayor said that next month is what he's gonna push for on this.
Can I,
This has been a really tough month this month with the parking garage and other issues that we're dealing with.
Okay.
can I ask a logistical question?
Mhm.
In November on the 2nd, we all go and vote, and then some new people might come.
Mhm.
Do those new people start like November 3rd,
No.
January 1st?
January.
Okay, I couldn't remember the rules.
Okay, so that's,
So I have also reached out to a couple of business folks downtown that
oh, good, thank you.
had, who were at the city council public hearing. One of them, and I'll leave this person nameless for the moment, but has agreed to review the ordinance as it stands right now and just write some comments or mark up what they feel should be, could be changed, or what their potential concerns
That would
are.
be
Just to
helpful.
kind of, just to, redline it type thing. The other one has not committed one way or the other, thinking about it. You know, just
Are they
to,
owners or operators?
Operators.
they are operators.
Okay.
Maybe these
I mean, just to, you know, they had expressed concern at the public hearing about this, that, and another thing, you know, not collectively, right? And I think it would be interesting to see what an individual or a couple of different individuals would,
So these,
what
you're
parts?
talking about a couple of people that were here or a couple of people that were not here?
they were here.
They were.
And just to, and I'm going to suggest the same thing to the counselors, just go through the ordinance as it stands now and put a question mark beside what you think is questionable, or underline it, or cross something out, or, you know, whatever it is that you want to, just to give us a better an idea of what the
What they're-
objections are and, you know, what it is that we need to work on. So that's part of the, hopefully be ready or underway when we get a scheduled date.
Okay. Okay. Updates on our educational pieces. So, here is an update on both the letter and the visual piece for the downtown businesses. Jill changed this just a little bit for us. Someone suggested bullet points, somebody suggested that. And let me know what you think. I know we have not redone the map piece. I think we were waiting on something there. So it's kind of where we're at. I also gave you, I had taken notes they're marked 4, 5, 6, sorry about that, on some of these. But I had also, I had written down some notes that kind of 3 pieces we are all kind of working around here. The ordinance review subcommittee, the educating outreach, and the education for the community, and then education outreach for the downtown businesses. So just kind of keeping us all focused on what we're looking at these days. If the letter looks good to everyone, then we should probably at least get that out to the Hagans, welcoming them, you know, and all of that. Was the idea to give it to everybody, since they're in the district, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, I mean, we can send it to the business owners
Yeah,
of
in the
the train
district.
station and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Would it go to the library trustees, or would it go to the city? Like, not go, but, you know,
I think it goes to the library trustees.
okay.
I have one request on this,
Yes, sir.
on this part right here.
Yeah,
Is it possible to change 106 to Main Street?
no. Yes, I'm sure. I don't even know where we got that from. Oh, it's from,
Probably from some computer.
yep.
But if that could be, if you want to leave the
It says
106
106.
there, that's fine.
No,
but
I'm not even sure that I took
It's
that.
important
I
to
think
put
somebody
Main
else
Street
gave that
there.
to
Yes,
me.
because most people will know it by Main Street, not.
Well, it's just important to designate that is Main Street.
Okay, no fighting.
Well, actually, hold on a second. Actually, on the other side, that's Church Street right there, on at the base of that blue line, or is it up further? I'm a little confused.
Yes, the base
Yeah.
of it is Church Street.
Yep.
And comes through Veterans Square, and comes out and around behind the train station and behind the library and all of that.
Oh, wait a minute, okay, wait a minute. Okay, so that's really not Main Street, that's North Main Street. Well, it is.
Main
it is.
Street,
Actually,
Main Street ends at the
at the
intersection.
corner.
Right,
That's
so
correct.
that piece is North Main Street.
Correct.
Only via post office. City, assessing, it's all Main Street. There's no south and north.
I couldn't hear what you said.
It's
What
all,
you- What she's saying is that there isn't a South and North Main Street.
Only for post office.
Well, really, that's interesting, because the fire department recognizes that, and when I go and vote, they say Charlie St. Clair, 792 North Main Street, and I go, that's correct.
Because it's your postal address.
Pardon me?
Because it's your postal address.
Listen,
Hey, she said it.
listen, I will fight this to the dying day.
I know you will.
As a lifelong resident here.
I'm not giving you your
That's-
prize.
No, listen, now, if we're gonna start changing names of streets around here because of some computer or some texting or whatever, then let's change them all, you know, I'll start, you've
I
got,
think it
If
only,
I may,
it only showed up there
on
because
this
it's
map,
on.
if
No,
you,
I'm-
it's
MapQuest.
blurry, it does say North Main Street.
I'm responding to the comment from over here saying that it's only in the post office, that's not true. Yeah, I wasn't looking at that map. was
I
looking at
know,
this
but I'm
one at-
just pointing out that. it
All
does
right,
say
let's
it.
get this all back together. Is there anything on that letter that we are not happy with at this point?
I only take slight objection to the very last sentence because it doesn't, we hope to hear or speak with you in person soon. Makes me feel funny grammatically.
Change it up.
Take it out.
If that's not something, if that's easy to change, I would prefer if it
So we're
said,
talking-
It is a clunkier,
if it said like,
this
just either we
letter.
hope to
It's the
hear
last
from
page.
you soon or we hope to speak with you soon. I don't feel like we can do
What's she looking at again?
very
hear
last
from
line.
you or speak with you. I don't know, just for me as an English major, that was grammatically clunky to me, but that is it.
Anybody
If you
else
hear
got
from somebody,
thoughts?
That's the same as speaking.
Well, and it would be hear from, I think. We hope to hear or speak with you
If you
soon.
hear from or speak with you. right?
Because if we hear with you in person, sorry,
It's okay, what do you want it to say?
we hope. Can we say that? And I also feel like it's a directive, and I don't know that we want it to be a directive. Like, we hope that you come see us. Like, I know we want them to, but like, oh, do I have to? Like, we hope.
How about just
We hope-
welcome to the neighborhood and let it
Maybe.
be open?
Yeah, or like,
We've already done that top sentence.
Right.
Welcome
We-
to Concord.
we hope you will see us.
Could we
Sincerely,
say-
let's say sincerely.
Would you be comfortable with, we'd be delighted to hear from you?
Yeah, we'd be.
I don't
We
know,
look-
hope means that you really hope they're gonna get back to us.
And we
Delighted
do.
is kinda like,
Right. Sorry, I didn't mean to make a big deal of one sentence. It was clunky to me.
Do we hope? Let's just go in parts.
We hope to hear from you soon. Again, it's a directive, but we do hope to hear from them, so it's not a lie.
And hopefully, if you're listening and you hear them, they'll be speaking. So it
Yeah,
covers
this
both
is
of
true.
them.
Right.
Because
covers it
if we
all.
hear from them, we will respond.
That's right.
It's
So we hope to
implied.
hear from you soon.
All right, perfect.
That's it.
Done. Anything other than the map on this other one, on the visual?
Well, the only thing I might say, and this is another thing that it might seem vaguely nitpicky and it's not a requirement, but is there any way to have the border looks less shaky hand-drawn?
Yeah, so we had talked about this last
Can't
time
you
about the
follow the
maps. Are we
street
able
lines? Is
to,
that what you're saying?
Well, no, it's like, it really does looks like
do we
somebody just
have
took
a
MS
tax
Paint
map
and with a
that we
mouse.
can do of the?
You could
ori-
follow
of
the
yeah,
street
the
line
current-
or wherever that,
We can,
Yeah.
there's a person at DBW that can,
And if we're doing that,
the GIS map and.
right.
because this is like a Google map or whatever, we have local burrito meat and the La Cornea Historic Museum, but
So we're-
really the buildings, oh, did we already fix that?
Yeah, so we're
the
just gonna get a
library.
tax map
Yeah.
that has,
So it
it's
says
gonna
like-
look exactly like the bottom one, but it's gonna be just shaded in the current,
Okay,
Good.
okay? Okay.
yeah.
I get that from you, Dean?
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
I love the way it looks on the front though, with just the words and then having the map.
yeah.
I really like that.
And, yeah, and the simplicity of having it just be the two different colors for the headers, I think it's clean looking and very easy to follow.
And the bullet points I loved also.
That makes it easier. Anything else on that one?
We'll have to just work it.
No? Okay. So,
Oh, it does say please attend meeting time date, but we're gonna put our own meeting time date in there, right?
We already have.
No,
Haven't we?
where is it?
I just read it.
on the very last paragraph in the biggest
Oh,
box.
yeah. Thank you.
Oh, I thought it's on the letter that we put it.
Someday I'll
good.
be a copywriter.
So,
Okay,
letter,
yes.
do you want to send that to me, and I'll put it on city
Yep,
stuff and send them?
yep. Awesome.
And we're gonna include this with the letter, or not till
No,
the letter
that
goes
one's
by itself?
not, that one is more towards our business. This one is more towards the businesses that are like not thrilled or
Oh,
have
okay.
questions. Or everybody downtown, really. It's just educating the expansion.
Okay. That's our visiting tactic then.
Right. So, I'll send this to you. You'll send it to anyone in the district currently. Great. This one, we'll make the changes, we'll get the map. Hate putting things off. Last time we were here, we said we could move forward with, even though the subcommittee is not in place, we could move forward with taking a walk downtown. And I had Hillary and Carl on the list to assist with that, but I'll throw the email out to everyone just in case. Yeah? Okay. It's gonna happen when it's cold.
It's fine,
I'm
I've got
going
a
on
North
vacation,
Face.
so
Go.
after Thanksgiving. And then, we're just gonna sit around and wait for Counselor Susie to reach out to us. And we had 2 or 3 people that had interest in being on there, and you know who they are.
I'm not gonna sit around and wait,
Okay.
but yes, we are waiting for them, because I have another agenda item that I
That you
the
need
same
taken care
subcommittee
of?
for too, so.
Okay, all right. That all said, the only other thing I kind of wanted to bring up under some other business or new business or wherever this
Well,
fits.
Tara, if I may,
Yeah.
did we still want to do the postcards that had been talked about?
The what?
The postcards that have been gone back and forth and talked about.
I think that's gonna get
maybes and-
tabled
Okay,
for now.
okay.
Let's move forward with this and see where we're
But
at.
this could be the postcard.
That could be the postcard, but
Too much verbiage for a
on the postcard, I just
Yeah.
don't think it's gonna roll.
No, and we
Yeah,
have
'cause
this,
I
we're gonna put it on
kinda-
letterhead and we're
We have
gonna mail it
lost
out
our
because we have to
opportunity
do
for
something and we're
Right,
doing it this
yeah.
month.
Right, so let's do that. Thank you for bringing that up, though. The only other thing, we had, Bill, no. Who's here last week? Last time?
Artist.
Our artist friend.
Not
Oh,
Bill, it's not
no.
Bill. Belcher.
Yeah, Jim Belcher.
Jim, thank you. I think we just need 1 minute and 45 seconds of, actually, it's only 45 seconds, of discussion about exactly just him being here. And I really liked his idea of like,
A trademark or a
thanks, yes, that.
A
Logo.
A
Yep,
logo.
thanks. So, since he's willing to do that
He sent
of
me,
his own
he
time,
sent me a copy of a rubber stamp that he designed
Mhm.
with our name and with one of the selected, or could be any. of
what
the
did we
selected.
like? Quickly, we all kind of liked a combination, right?
Yes.
Of toppings.
I really like, the simplistic, the simpler one. Like, could we get?
Of the
trees-
library?
Or the spires, didn't we?
That happens to be the one that he selected just to do a rubber stamp of. And it's small, but very clearly the library. And it has, in the circle around it, where the stamp is, it has our name above it. It's really very clear and very nice.
And
I
I
should
see
have
you
brought
have
it in.
Others though that,
You're having all kinds of trouble over there, Carl.
Only concern with only doing the libraries, I don't want people to misconstrue anything from us as being from the library, even though it will say Laconia Historic District. Like, could we get like the 3 spires with Laconia
I
Historic
don't know why
District
we should be
underneath?
afraid of that. What are you afraid of somebody knowing where we're from?
Well, no, I just don't want the library to get like our mail because people think they're
Well,
reaching out to
no,
us.
no.
I don't think so.
No,
That's a
I don't think
postal service
that's,
problem.
but I wonder, is it possible to do something like this one? It's a little smaller, it's a little smaller
We can do
part.
anyone we want.
But then, is it too much to ask like a little, what's on, ooh, the L on top of the train station?
Mm-hmm.
You seen that? You've seen that?
No.
The big L on the
Of
side of the train
course,
station?
yes.
Of course you have. I wonder if we could get just a couple symbols of a couple others,
Yeah,
toppings. Do you think that's
Oh,
something we
to
can ask
balance
Jim?
it out?
To kind of balance it out and show that it's not
Yeah.
just
He can
this,
do
it's,
anything you ask him to.
yeah.
okay, can you ask him
And
to
he's
do,
willing to do that.
because he's amazing.
He's
Can
a
you
good
a-
kid.
He's a, okay, he's a good kid.
So L
Heard that,
from
Jim
the
Belcher?
L from the L from the passenger station, spire from the library, cupola from the Bustill house, in a little tiny space with our name under it. Done.
Done.
Okay.
Hillary finished it.
You lost me. Now, if you're gonna do that, take this with you
No, no, no.
and just
No,
cut-
I'm not
or
going to do that.
You can shrink them.
She's gonna draw it
I'm gonna
right
draw
here
it for you right now.
Oh,
I don't know what the L looks like, but I'm assuming it looks like this.
Yes, it's
yeah, it
on
looks
the,
like an L.
And then we have the
looks like an L.
Spires.
spires from the library,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have that the I can't say it.
Buzzell Mill.
Yeah, where is it?
No, that's the Belknap.
No, that's
That's the
Buzzell
mill. I want the house.
You could do the tavern building too.
Just write the house on it.
Right.
Just say
Yeah,
Buzzell House.
This doesn't have as much width
Yes,
as the first one.
make them thin. So they all fit.
Because the tavern
Hmm?
ones have the
Could be a
flat
part
tops
of the
with
porch.
spires, a little bit of
Or
variety.
yeah.
Yeah.
So passenger
know,
station, library, Buzzell House, Laconia, HDC underneath. Right? Any,
Yeah, try something like that. See what he can
Yeah,
do with
I'll
that.
give that to him tomorrow.
Cool?
I'm no artist.
Well, we don't have one of the.
Well, but he
Train
could.
station.
He could probably
He-
quickly do
he
an L.
could.
He's pretty talented.
You'll
I
be
think
a
he
pain
can
in
cover
neck
the L.
tonight. Easy.
I'm just
Okay.
trying to be
Any other
productive.
business this evening?
We're gonna get something done though.
Yeah.
Any other business?
God, I love that one.
Yeah, I do too.
Any other bingos?
I want to just go back to the presentation for a second.
Yes,
I should have
please.
asked, so am I able to state that the Historic District Commission was in support of the project? If I need to, if I'm going to the city for a meeting or anything like that?
Well, the presentation was
Vote
very
on that?
well
I don't think
received by
we're-
all.
Oh,
Are
you
we
would have
allowed
it would
to-
go to the planning board for, right? Is that
Yep.
correct?
Minor site plan.
Yeah.
Do we have to vote on support of something, or can we just say that as a group we're
Well,
in support?
you heard everybody's comments. It was very well
We'll let the
supported.
record reflect.
We are very much in support of this project.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can we just see a show of hands, just so we know? Yeah?
We're
Aye.
all-
You're
So we're all
supported.
in.
Build, go. But we
That
get
doesn't
a
vote.
tour when it's completed.
That's a good
I'm
stipulation.
down.
Okay?
You
All
need
right.
to be invited over.
Yep, and
And
I'd
then
like
they
to
need
see the bar.
become our friends so we can have drinks on their terrace.
You should go now, because you're gonna, if you go afterwards, you're gonna miss out on the
On the
wonderful
wow
6
effect.
apartments that are out front
Well,
right
I'm-
now.
Maybe I need to get like
Very
a before and after
fancy.
tour.
No,
assuming you
I've
guys
seen
are
them.
taking a lot of pictures
We have a
before
ton
the
of
work is
pictures.
done.
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Very cool. Just a
be good
quick
enough for me.
note that both the Weirs Drive-In and the Lakeport Baptist Church received a 7 to save today.
They
So,
received what?
a 7 to save
Would
nomination.
you explain what that is?
Excellent.
There are
It
some of
is-
us that got that mailing and didn't know what a 7 to 11 means.
Well, 7 to 11 is a place where you get a big
Slurpee.
gulp.
I'm sorry.
So 7 to save, and jump in, Sonia and Jared, if I'm off track, but 7 to save is a nomination, program nomination from the New Hampshire Preservation Alliance. And it doesn't necessarily bring money to a project occurring in the state, but it does bring statewide notice to that
Visibility.
project, visibility,
Notoriety, huh?
which can bring money to a project.
The
So-
Colonial was on the list.
Yeah. The mill was on the list,
So.
We have a lot of
what
buildings, actually.
property is this that we're-
the Lakeport Baptist Church, Lake, is that what it is? Lakeport
Yeah, we-
Baptist Church?
We talked about that before,
United
and that
Baptist.
was important, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what the
And,
7.
and the, so it will allow, hopefully, Wayne and his crew over there to gain a little bit more visibility in the state, that if there is somebody out there that may feel that they can assist, either financially or in preservation circles with his project, that they can reach out to him.
Now, how does that tie in with the Weir's Drive-In?
So the Weir's Drive-In
They've been
received
trying to
one as
sell that
well.
for years.
And that project, that property is for sale, archaeologically as well as, building-wise. And its history of being a drive-in
But the
is
owners there
significant.
still continue to be the
Aldi's,
Aldi's.
currently.
And they don't do any favors for us.
Well,
Well, there's no sense in saying that somebody won't do something. you
I
know.
didn't.
In the past, I'm talking about hopefully in the future.
right.
If
That's all.
that's already on the list,
Well, it's on the list, and it is under some possible contractual sale in to be possibly purchased, but the tough part would be for them to dig on that space, because of the archaeological
Oh, yeah.
significance, what's
Right.
The
underneath
owners
there.
keep like, I keep saying things, the owner's like, oh, we've never found anything in there.
Well, that's
It is.
irrelevant.
Yeah,
Wait,
no, it is.
archaeologically, there's like Native American
Well,
relics.
the Weirs was very
Yeah.
strong
Right, right.
for the Abenaki and the Pennacook, groups here, so
Dug in other places up
there
there,
have
so-
been, yeah, right, Charlie? There's been digs in other places
That's
where
correct.
things have been found, so, but this was paved over in the 50s and whatever, early 50s, whatever it was, and highly likely there are things underneath it, but because it got paved, it is basically entombed, whatever is underneath it.
But could archaeologists come and dig it up and preserve those things?
Well, they could, but that's a,
That's-
$1 million, billion-dollar project to dig all that up, so.
Guess I'll call my
But
archaeologist
the
friend.
good
Well,
news,
it's private
that there's
property.
projects happening in Laconia, and we're on the map with a lot of preservation eyes in the state. So, any other news?
I have a question of Dean. Has a demolition permit been granted or not for that property on Lakeside Avenue?
Not yet. I did talk with Emily.
Who's Emily?
She says the properties are not for sale, period. They are actually looking to buy additional property. I'm just telling you what she told me.
Well, Emily, and I can go on the record as saying this, I'd best talk to her realtor, who has been entertaining purchase prices from people, so,
Saying.
again, it's the old two-step.
But they don't have their,
And I suspect that she's saying that so that, again, I'll go on record as saying this, I suspect she's saying that so that the demolition permit is issued, and not held up by any thoughts of saying, well, if you're selling the property, why do you need to tear it down? I'm just saying that we can all play, I mean, I can play as good a game as they can as far as,
While we're on demo permits, don't look at me like that, dude. No movement, what is with the church? Nothing? No movement?
correct.
And so a demo permit, just to clarify, a demo permit can sit forever?
no.
The application, at the request of the applicant, can essentially be on hold.
Till we all pass.
But it hasn't been issued yet, right?
It has
Yes,
not
it-
been issued.
And that's only good for 1 year, from what I'm told.
Once it's issued, it's good for 1 year.
So it has not been issued because it got stalled, because we had to stop talking
At the
about it.
request of the applicant.
So it just sits. So if it's not issued, then why can't it be inside? If it's not issued, why can't it, why is the
application-
church not inside the district?
The
Because
Church is, the
it-
church is. The
Right.
church is.
But then,
But because they applied
before
before
the district was in
created,
place,
they would be exempt.
So they applied quickly so that it could sit.
yes, and there is the reason why you don't put everything on the front page newspaper.
Right.
And with that, I move to adjourn.
Okay. Yes, who wants to second that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, we'll close this meeting at 7:41.
Is there